it was people that I was confused about. The people around me, it wasn't very clear. It wasn't very open. It wasn't very honest. It wasn't genuine, very often in my life. So it's been very hard to open up to the right people and put myself on paths that I believe in. It's been very, very difficult because it's hard to know yourself when there's loads of people that are being dishonest and not being themselves. It's very hard to pick what is the right path for you and what is the path that you believe in, because you don't know yourself properly. You can't get to know yourself when there's people that are living in la la land all the time. And that's one of the issues. And we're getting colder and colder as a society now, and that has its bad sides as well, but it is what it is. The topic right now is what's going on with my life right now and what do I prioritize in who I want to be friends with and who I want to have a relationship with. I think as men we have a big duty to ourselves, and if you have anyone that you care about, etc., to find a good partner, because a partner, except for your girlfriend or whatever you want to label it, different types, affects the people around you. They affect a lot the people around you. I've seen this firsthand with my cousins, with my parents, you see. And my cousins, there's loads of cousins that don't want to be around the specific cousin that I'm thinking of right now because they don't have a good relationship. They have a toxic relationship, and the woman is quite controlling and not genuine, fake, immature. Very big problem, because when you're out together and you're chilling, you can't have an easy life with these people. You can't have a fun time because you're like, when is the bad stuff gonna happen now? Because it always happens every single time. So you're almost afraid to enjoy, to take off your guard, because this person is someone that you don't trust, someone that is not good. Also, you perceive that. That's how you see it as. That's why it's bad. So I want someone to be mature. Maturity is so important. I've had immaturity with my parents, my mum and dad, currently with my dad, and I know how the problems in life becomes 10 times harder when you're with someone that's immature, and they're not able to self-regulate, and that's a big issue, because self-regulating yourself is cool in your lifestyle. If you're unable to do like activities, physical activities like gym, working out, taking care of your diet, making good choices that don't make your life a headache, because there's rules and regulations that you have to follow. You can't just be like, alright, no, I don't feel like it today, because that's not how life is right now. Life is unfortunately made up on a structure that you just have to kind of follow, and if you put your weight to someone else that you're living with, then it's a big problem, massive problem in life. And that's what I want to avoid. I want to avoid being around people that are putting weights on me and that I can't be myself. Loads of problems with someone that is immature. They tend to lie much more often because they want to get whatever that they want to get, and that's a big problem. It's a problem to always be wanting something, this, that, because life, when you become mature, obviously, you realize that life is not centered around you. You are not the king, you're not the queen. you're not the so and so main character. Although you can be the main character of your life, that's a good thing. It's just you are not the main character overall, and there's a lot of immature people that behave self-centered, and that's quite an issue. And this life is quite dehumanizing, is what I've realized and what I've came to terms with. And I still come into terms with it. It's really tough to be in an environment where you're being stripped of yourself. You know, you have to be a certain way to be accepted in society, a lot more than how it was at school. You know, at school you'd just be accepted regardless, and that's how it is life now. Let me move into a better position where there's a bit better lighting, so I don't want to turn on the thingy on the top. Life is exhausting, you know, even if you play it by the rules, life is quite tiring. And it could mean a whole host of things that are just a headache to deal with if you don't know how to deal with them. You need to have a structure in your life, extremely important. You need to know what you like and what you dislike. And you need to have a blueprint that you can easily follow and that works with you, that works with your moods and how your moods tend to be. Because if you don't, then you're going to be stuck in a loop that feels hostile, you know. I know that life too well. Too often I had that. You need to be able to control yourself and your own environment and your own habitat and your own, you know, framework, and not be too interested in others, because that's also immaturity. Seeking drama is immaturity. You can't be genuine with people when you're constantly talking behind people's backs and you want information 24/7 with whatever someone is doing, you know. That's the problem. So that's currently what my what some members in my family are doing. It's tough because it just makes life quite empty being around them, and you can't tell them anything that is vulnerable because it gets spread, you know. So you become careful with what you say, which is kind of good in life in general, actually. It's just exhausting. You know, it's very tiring to be a certain way, to fit in a certain mold that they want you to be in. And you just want to be at peace. I think that's one of the greatest goals that I want in my life, to be at peace and to also grow. And it's tough to do both at the same time, but you can be in chaos and be at peace at the same time. Controlled chaos, or somewhat. You're just okay with being yourself, and you learn more and more about yourself. Growing up as a man or as a guy, you realize that no one's coming to save you. You know, it might look like as a kid you might have a lot of support, but you realize that later on in life you have very few support, genuine support. That is very few. And there's if you come from a family background that is narcissistic or very high narcissistic tendencies, then you'll realize that you're not from a genuine helping place. you don't have genuine help, you don't have a real family, one might call it. And it's tough, but it's reality. One of the most mature things that anyone can do is be a part of reality, and that is what I focus on the most. Whatever delusions that I have in my own head, that's what includes also. I need to prioritize reality more than whatever that I fantasize or whatever that I feel like I want to do. Because immaturity is that, and so being part of reality, and also being able to control yourself, having discipline. Often people that are immature, they just want and want and want. Everything's about wanting. And when you're living with people and you're constantly wanting and wanting, it becomes fatiguing, to be around this person, to live any structure of life just becomes not nice. It becomes kind of serving. You become like a slave to this person's life because they just think about themselves and whatever they want. They act on want so often, and just remembering at the end of the day we're people, hoping that we have people that sympathize, people that have empathy around us. My dad wasn't genuine, still isn't, and that's a problem because it's tough to have real connection with him, real memories, real connection, and a life that is somewhat fulfilling as a person. You want some aspects of your life to feel like you're fulfilling, you're growing, you're becoming a better person, more skilled person, maybe in cutlery, maybe in sports, maybe in your career, or maybe in just socially, really, really important. But these people, they don't, because they're not genuine to themselves. That's one of the main issues. Hence why they compulsively lie. And that's a part of immaturity as well. Lying constantly. It's tough to be in a bubble with these kinds of people that are so self-serving and self-centered, and often delusional. Stupidity has costs as well, very heavy costs. You don't have to be someone that has bad intentions. You can be stupid and have a lot of problems that you create. So taking care of yourself is a crucial aspect that it should be respected by you don't have to respect it. I don't know why I said that, but it's something that I respect, because someone that takes care of themselves obviously cares about other people. That's what it means to me. You can't care about someone if you don't care about yourself, and that means taking care of yourself, not whatever delusions that you have in your head of, if I eat a lot of sweets, it's not going to be bad for me. It is going to be bad for you. That's the reality. So you saying whatever delusion that you have is not, and filling yourself up with these lies and other people, it doesn't make your life better. And as a consequence, many problems happen in your life and other people's lives. That's how it is. When I was young, we watch TV and we see people that are in relationships. They are maybe good looking, maybe they have a great charisma, maybe they're really good at maybe they're good at football, maybe they're good at a job. Maybe they're just cool with friends, and these people, you kind of want to imitate them. That's how you grow up. Like, you don't think very, very logically at that time, obviously, when you're young. So you just try to copy whatever that you think is love, whatever that you think is love. Or you even think that loving someone, I fell in love, it means it's enough. But it's not enough. It's not actually enough. Because living with somebody requires patience, requires maturity, requires just respect that you feel inside of you, not because they are somebody or they're CEO or they're something. You just respect them. You value them, you care about them, and you're genuine. Extremely important. Otherwise, you can't have any connection if you're not genuine. You need to know how to say no to both yourself and other people. Extremely important. This is stuff that I wasn't taught. I wasn't not at school, not at home. There's nobody that told me, look, this is important. You're going to be married to the woman's or the guy's family, basically. You're going to be married to their religion. You're going to be married to their friends, their lifestyle, their beliefs, how they think. Really, honestly, you become married to that. You become, cohesion of that, and you bond with it. And it disrupts your personality. It could be in a good way or it could be in a bad way. And even if you love someone, I know love is quite irrational, it causes a massive problem in your life. It's not good to be with someone that, we have real love. You might have real love, but the problem is your mind is messed up. Your identity is messed up as a result. I don't know. And that is a big problem. Nobody warns you about. No one tells you that this is serious. This is quite important. More important than your career. More important than everything. £5 million, £50 million, being a CEO doesn't solve this problem. It's a massive problem. And nobody warned us. That's what's chilling to me. That's what's messed up. Zero warning. It is worse than gambling. This mistake is worse than gambling. It is worse than losing £100,000 in one night at gambling. It's worse. I say this because I know the pain of gambling and losing a lot of money really quickly, and it's very, very, very painful. I haven't lost a great deal amount of money where my life is ruined or I'm really messed up. Nothing really. Just the savings I've lost in quick succession. And that pain is not the same pain as you have as if you were to be with someone that is bad with you, that's bad for you. Way worse. And I saw the late stages, not only the early stages, but the late stages of how bad it could be being with someone that is bad for you. And that's my parents. How messed up life could be, how distorted not only your sense of identity is. My dad can't socialize properly. There's a lot of stuff he can't do properly that he used to be able to do, Now it's just nothing but a memory. And memories that he reminisces instead of saying, look, this is reality and I have to just adapt. Because 20 years when you don't adapt, I can't imagine. I don't know what happens in a person's mind, but in his perspective, he's died. That's how it is. From my perspective, from the outside, he's lost himself. And there is no feels like there's no antidote, there's no repair to it. It just feels too late. I've done a lot of stuff, and I feel exhausted. That I'm finished mentally, I'm finished energy wise, and I just feel dizzy.